The Lord of the Rings, Part 4, by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Even as Frodo, still invisible because he was wearing the ring, tried to launch one of the boats and continue his quest on his own, Aragorn sped on up the hill in search of him.
The Horn of Boromir, he's in need. Alas, an ill fate is on me this day, and all that I do goes amiss. And where is Sam? Elendil! Elendil!
A mile from the path, in a little glade not far from the lake, Aragorn found Boromir. He was sitting with his back to a great tree as if he was resting, but Aragorn saw that he was pierced with many black-feathered arrows. His sword was still in his hand, but it was broken near the hilt. His horn, cloven in two, was at his side. Many orcs lay slain, piled all about him and at his feet. Aragorn knelt beside him.
Boromir.
I tried to take the ring from Frodo. I'm sorry. I've paid. I slew 20 at least, but they've gone. The halflings, the orcs, have taken them. I think they're not dead. Orcs bound them. Farewell, Aragorn. Go to Minas Tirith and save my people. I have failed.
No. See, I kiss your brow. You have conquered. Few have gained such a victory. Be at peace. Minas Tirith shall not fall. Which way did they go? Was Frodo there? Alas, this is a bitter end. Now the company is all in ruin.
Who's there?
Legolas.
Aye, and Gimli. We've hunted and slain many orcs in the woods, but should have been more use here. We came when we heard the horn, but too late it seems. I fear you're deadly hurt.
Boromir's dead. I'm unscathed, for I wasn't here with him. He fell defending the hobbits while I was away upon the hill.
The hobbits? Where are they then? Where's Frodo?
I don't know. Before he died, Boromir told me that the orcs had bound them. I didn't ask him if Frodo or Sam were with him, not until it was too late. All I've done today has gone amiss. What is to be done now?
First, we must tend to the fallen. We can't leave him lying like carrion among these foul orcs.
But we must be swift. He wouldn't wish us to linger. We must follow the orcs if there is hope that any of our company are living prisoners.
But we don't know whether the ring-bearer is with them or not. Are we to abandon him? Must we not seek him first? An evil choice is now before us.
Then let's do first what we must do. We haven't the time or the tools to bury our comrade fitly or to raise a mound over him. A cairn we might build.
The labor would be hard and long. There are no stones that we could use nearer than the waterside.
Then let's lay him in a boat with his weapons and the weapons of his vanquished foes. We'll send him to the falls of Rorus and give him to the river of Gondor, which will take care at least that no evil creature dishonors his bones.
Back on the greensward, Aragorn surveyed the lawn, stooping often to the earth.
No orcs have been on this ground. There are some clear prints here. A hobbit waded out into the water and back.
How then do you read this riddle?
Well, 2 packs are missing, and one certainly is Sam's. It was large and heavy. This then is the answer. Frodo has gone by boat, and his servant has gone with him.
But why should he leave us behind and without a word? That was a strange deed.
Maybe hunting orcs came upon him and he fled.
He fled, certainly, but not, I think, from orcs.
Our choice, then, is either to take the remaining boat and follow Frodo, or else to follow the orcs on foot.
I will follow the orcs. The fate of the bearer is in my hands no longer. The company has played its part. Yet we that remain cannot forsake our companions while we have strength left. Come, we shall make such a chase as shall be accounted a marvel among the three kindreds, elves, dwarves, and men.
Aye.
Forth, the three hunters.
Like a deer, Aragorn sprang away. Through the trees he sped. The woods about the lake they left behind. Long slopes they climbed, dark, hard-edged against the sky, already red with sunset. Dusk came, they passed through, gray shadows in a stony land.
Now, they won't make for the river, whatever mark they aim at. And unless there's much amiss in Rohan and the power of Saruman is greatly increased, they'll take the shortest way they can find over the fields of the Rohirrim. Let's search northwards.
Look! We've already overtaken some of those we're hunting. See what look like boulders over there?
Orcs.
Hewn with many cruel strokes. 2 have been beheaded. The ground's wet with their dark blood.
Here's another riddle, but it needs the light of day, and for that we can't wait.
Yet, however you read it, it seems not unhopeful. Enemies of the orcs are likely to be our friends.
There was a quarrel, I'd guess. It's no uncommon thing with these foul folk. Maybe there was some dispute about the road.
Or about the captives, Pippin and Merry. Let's hope they too didn't meet their end here.
Now, let's see. Over here. At last. This is the way the orcs went after their debate. Stay! Don't follow me yet.
What have you found?
Footprints. Yes, they're quite plain. A hobbit's footprints. Pippin's, I think.
Pippin?
And look at this.
The brooch of an elven cloak.
Not idly do the leaves of Lorien fall. This didn't drop by chance. It was cast away as a token to any that might follow. I think Pippin ran away from the trail for that purpose.
Then at least he's alive. Then Aragorn saw a shadow on the distant green, a dark, swift, moving blur. He cast himself down on the ground and listened intently. But Legolas stood beside him, shading his bright elven eyes with his long, slender hand.
Riders. Many riders of swift steeds are coming towards us.
Yes, I see 3 empty saddles, but no hobbits.
What do you know of these horsemen, Aragorn?
They are the Rohirrim, the riders of Rohan. I've been among them. They're proud and willful, but they're true-hearted, generous in thought and deed, bold but not cruel, wise but unlearned, writing no books but singing many songs after the manner of the children of men before the dark years.
Gandalf spoke of a rumor that they pay tribute to Mordor.
We will soon learn the truth. Already they approach.
What news from the north? Riders of Rohan.
Who are you? And what are you doing in this land?
I am called Strider. I came out of the north. I am hunting orcs.
That's no name for a man that you give. And strange, too, is your raiment. Have you sprung out of the grass? Are you elfish folk?
Give me your name, horse master, and I will give you mine and more besides.
As for that, the stranger should declare himself first, good dwarf. Yet, I am named Eomer, the 3rd Marshal of the Riddermark.
We intend no evil to Rohan nor to any of your folk. Will you not hear our tale before you strike?
I will, But wanderers in the Riddermark would be wise to be less haughty in these days of doubt.
Now, first tell me whom you serve. Are you friend or foe of Sauron, the Dark Lord of Mordor?
I serve only the Lord of the Mark Theoden. We do not serve the power of the Black Land far away, but neither are we at war with him. There is trouble now on all our borders, and the unbidden stranger finds us swift and hard. Come, who are you? Whom do you serve?
I serve no man, but the servants of Sauron I pursue into whatever land they may go. Behold, I am Aragorn, and am called Elessar, the Elfstone, Dunadan, the heir of Isildur, Elendil's son of Gondor. Here is the sword that was broken and is forged again. Will you aid me or thwart me? Choose swiftly.
Oh, these are indeed strange days. Dreams and legends spring to life out of the grass. But tell me, Lord, what brings you here?
We pursue an orc host that carried off our friends. What can you tell us?
That you need not pursue them further. The orcs are destroyed.
And our friends?
We found none but orcs.
That is strange indeed. Did you search the slain? Were there no bodies other than those of orc kind? They would be small, only children to your eyes, unshod but clad in gray.
No dwarves or children.
We don't speak of dwarves or children. Our friends were hobbits.
Hobbits? And what may they be? It's a strange name.
A strange name for a strange folk, but they were very dear to us. The words that troubled Minas Tirith spoke of halflings. These hobbits are halflings.
Halflings? They're only little people in old songs. Do we talk in legends or on the green earth in the daylight?
A man may do both. We found a clear token not far from the east wall that one at least was still alive.
My company chafes to be away. This is my choice. You may go, and what is more, I will lend you horses.
Do not trouble. I would sooner walk than sit on the back of any beast so great.
But you must ride now, or you will hinder us.
You shall sit behind me, friend Gimli. Then all will be well, and you need neither borrow a horse nor be troubled by one.
Very swift were the horses of Rohan. When, after a little, Gimli looked back, the company of Éomer were already small and far away. Aragorn watched the trail, and before long they approached the tree-clad slopes of Fangorn looming through the mist. At last, as the afternoon was waning, they came to the eaves of the forest and found the place of the great burning. Upon a stake in the middle of a pile of helms and mail and cloven shields was set a great goblin head. But by nightfall they had discovered no trace of Merry and Pippin. Now let's light a fire and make our camp under this spreading tree.
Look, the tree is glad of the fire. Its brown leaves are rubbing together like many cold, cracked hands taking comfort in the warmth.
We'll draw for watches and sleep. Gimli, remember it's perilous to cut bough or twig from a living tree in Fangorn. Let the fire die, rather. Call me at need.
Who's there? Who are you?
It's an old man.
Well, Father, what can we do for you? Come, be warm.
Who? Hey! He's vanished. It was Saruman.
The horses, they've gone.
Who else but Saruman? He's gone off with our horses.
There's more trouble coming to us, mark my words. When they had run off searching for Frodo, Pippin and Merry dashed into the woods and crashed right into a group of orcs. Dozens of goblins had sprung out of the trees. Merry and Pippin had drawn their swords, but the orcs tried only to lay hold of them, even when Merry had cut off several of their arms and hands. Then Boromir had come, leaping through the trees. He slew many of the orcs. But then they were attacked again, and the orcs shot a rain of arrows, always at Boromir alone. When no answer came to Boromir's great horn, the orcs had attacked more fiercely than before. Then Pippin did not remember much more until he woke later to find his wrists, legs, and ankles tied with cords. Beside him lay Merry, white-faced, with a dirty rag bound across his brow.
Merry, are you all right?
Rest while you can, you little fool. We'll find a use for your legs before long. You'll wish you'd got none before you get home.
Lay quiet, or I'll tickle you with this blade of mine. Curse the Isengarders!
You're right. There's no time for play on this trip.
Why not kill them now? They're a cursed nuisance, and night's coming on.
No! Orders! Kill all but not the halflings, they said. They're to be brought back alive as quick as possible. That's my orders.
What are they wanted for?
I heard one of them has got something that's wanted for the war, some elvish plot or other.
Then why don't we search them and find out? We might find something we could use ourselves.
That's a very interesting remark. I may have to report that. The prisoners are not to be searched or plundered. Alive as captured are my orders. No spoiling.
Oh, well, they're not our orders. We've come all the way from the mines to kill. I was to kill and then go back.
Then you can wish again. I am Ugluk of the Uruk-hai, the fighting Uruk-hai. We slew the great warrior. I don't trust you, swine. You've no guts outside your own sties. We are the servants of Saruman, the wise, the white hand. The hand that gives us man's flesh to eat. We came out of Isengard and led you here, and we shall lead you back by the way we choose. I am Ugluk. I have spoken.
You've spoken more than enough, Ugluk. I wonder how they'd like it in Lugbers. They might think Ugluk's shoulders needed relieving of his swollen head. Hey, Saruman is a fool, and a dirty, treacherous fool, but the Great Eye is on him. Who does he think he is, Saruman, with his filthy white badges?
How do you like being called swine by the muckrakers of a dirty little wizard? It's orc flesh they eat, I'll warrant.
What? Take that! No! Any more? Want to lose their heads? Pick up the prisoners. Don't play any tricks with them. If they're not alive when we get back, someone else will die too. Here, drink this.
Can't take his medicine. Doesn't know what's good for him. I will have some fun later.
Oh, hello, Pippin. So you've come on this little expedition too? Where do we get bed and breakfast?
Now then, none of that. Hold your tongues. No talk to one another, and trouble will be reported at the other end. Straight on. Follow Lugdush.
If I can just get at this brooch.
Make them both run! Just use the whip as a reminder! Get back into line! Come on now! Run, 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 run!
In the early darkness, the orcs came to a hillock.
Here we are. Fine leadership. I hope the great Ugluk will lead us out again. Seems we're surrounded.
Get those halflings down. You, Lugdush, get 2 others and stand guard over them. And not to be killed unless the filthy riders break through. Understand? As long as I'm alive, I want them. But they're not to cry out, and they're not to be rescued. Bind their legs.
I don't think much of this. I feel nearly done in. Don't think I could crawl away far, even if I was free.
You. Now let me see what we have here. Little people shouldn't meddle in the affairs that are too big for them. What's in these pockets, eh?
I don't think you'll find it that way. It isn't easy to find.
Find it? Find what? What are you talking about, little one?
Nothing, my precious.
Oh, that's what he means, is it? Oh, very dangerous, my little ones. Very dangerous.
Perhaps, and not only for us. Still, you know your own business best. Do you want it or not? And what would you give for it?
Have you got it, either of you?
Untie our legs.
Curse you, you filthy little vermin. Untie your legs. I'll untie every string in your bodies. Do you think I can't search you to the bones? Search you! I'll cut you both to quivering shreds. I don't need the help of your legs to get you away and have you all to myself.
Suddenly he seized them. The strength of his long arms and shoulders was terrifying. He tucked them one under each armpit and crushed them fiercely to his sides. Then he sprang forward, stooping low. Quickly and silently he went and passed like a shadow between the orc watchers, down the slope and away towards the plain. After going a dozen yards he halted, peering and listening. Nothing could be seen or heard of the riders who had surrounded the orcs on their hill. He crept slowly on. Then he stood up, as if to risk a sudden dash. At that very moment, the dark form of a rider of Rohan loomed up right in front of him.
Who's there? It's an orc trying to escape. He's dead.
One less!
So far, so good. But how are we to avoid being spitted?
Those cords have cut me like wires. But my feet are getting warm again. I could stagger on now. What about you, Mary?
Yes, I can manage it.
And what about the Forest of Fangorn, eh?
I wonder if anyone will ever pick up your trail and find that brooch. I'm afraid it's gone for good.
You know, we've been warned against Fangorn.
The forest seems better to me all the same than turning back into the middle of a battle.
And so Mary led the way in under the huge branches of the trees old beyond guessing. And in the distance, the riders of Rohan sprang to life and victory. The hobbits went with as much speed as the dark and tangled forest allowed, following the line of the running stream up towards the slopes of the mountains, deeper and deeper into Fangorn forest. Slowly their fear of the orcs died away and their pace slackened. A queer, stifling feeling came over them.
Oh, we can't go on like this. I want some air.
Let's have a drink at any rate. Here's a stream winding around this tree root.
Oh, the trees seem to be standing round us, rank on rank, just watching.
I don't suppose you've lost us already. I suppose we could always follow the stream.
Oh, we could if our legs would do it, and if we could breathe properly.
Yes. Yes, it's all very dim and stuffy in here. It reminds me somehow of the old room back home at the great place of the Tooks, where the furniture has never been moved or changed for generations.
Ooh.
Look at all those weeping, trailing beards and whiskers of lichen. And most of the trees seem to be half covered with ragged, dry leaves that have never fallen. Untidy. I can't imagine what spring would look like here if it ever comes, still less a spring cleaning.
Hello, see that yellow light? The sun must have run out of a cloud, or else she's looking down through some opening. It isn't far. Oh, let's go and investigate.
This way. It's rock wall here. It's something like a stair.
Oh, made by the weather, I expect. Look at that old tree. It looks just like some gnarled man blinking in the morning light. Come on, up we go. Now for a breath of air and a sight of land. Oh, the wind's changing. It feels cool up here.
I'm afraid this sunlight's only a passing gleam. What a pity. This shaggy old forest looked so different in the sunshine. I almost felt I liked the place.
Almost felt you liked the forest? That's good. That's uncommonly kind.
What?
Turn round and let me have a look at your faces. I almost feel that I disliked you both, but don't let's be too hasty. Turn round now.
A large knob-knuckled hand was laid on each of their shoulders, and they were twisted round, gently but irresistibly. Then 2 great arms lifted them up. They found they were looking at a most extraordinary figure, at least 14 feet high, very sturdy, with a tall head and hardly any neck. Whether it was clad in stuff like green and gray bark, or whether that was its hide, was difficult to say.
Very odd indeed. Don't be hasty. That's me motto. But if I'd seen you before I heard your voices, I like them. Nice little voices. They remind me of something I can't remember. If I'd seen you before I heard them, I'd have just trodden on you, taking you for little orcs, and found my mistake afterwards. Very odd you are indeed.
And please, who are you? And what are you?
Oh, now, well, I'm an Ent. Well, that's what they call me. Yes. Ent is the word. The Ent I am, you might say, in your manner of speaking. Fangorn is my name, according to some. Treebeard, others make it. Treebeard will do.
Ent? What's that?
What are you, I wonder? I can't place you. You don't seem to come into the old lists I learned when I was young. Let me see. How did it go? Yes. Learn now the lore of living creatures. How did it go? Rum-tum-tum-tum, rum-ti-tum-tum. Yes, it was a long list. But anyway, you don't seem to fit in anyway.
We always seem to have got left out of the old lists and the old stories. Yet we've been around for quite a long time. We're hobbits. That's what we call ourselves.
Why not make a new line for the list? Half-grown hobbits, the hole dwellers. He put us in next to man.
So, you live in holes, huh? Come now, not so hasty. You call yourselves hobbits. You shouldn't go telling just anybody.
And I'm a Brandybuck, though most people call me Merry.
And I'm a Took, but I'm generally called Pippin.
What is Gandalf up to? And these orcs? And young Saruman down at Isengard? I like news, but not too quick now.
And you know Gandalf?
The only wizard who cares about trees. Do you know him?
Yes, we did. He was a great friend and he was our guide. But what side are you on? And what are you going to do with us?
I'm not going to do anything with you. We might do some things together. I don't know about sides. I go my own way. Always my own. But you speak of Master Gandalf as if he was in a story that had come to an end.
Yes, we do. The story seems to be going on, but I'm afraid Gandalf has fallen out of it.
Come now. Well, I don't know what to say. Come now.
Wouldn't you like to put us down? You must be tired of holding us up.
Tired? No, I'm not tired. I don't easily get tired. And I don't sit down. I'm not very bendable. Let's leave this. Did you say what you call it?
Hill? Shelf?
Yes.
Step?
Hill, shelf, no, hill, that was it, yeah. But it's a hasty word for a thing that has stood here ever since this part of the world was shaped.
Dear.
Never mind. Let's leave it and go.
Oh, where shall we go?
To my home, or one of my homes.
Oh.
This is an Ent house. We'll stay here tonight. There are no seats, I fear, but you may sit on the table. Now, tell me your tale, and don't hurry.
And so the hobbits began to tell him the story of their adventures ever since they left Hobbiton. They followed no very clear order, for they interrupted one another continually. They said nothing whatever about the ring, and he didn't ask for the reasons why they had set out. He made them describe the Shire, and then...
You never see any Ents round there, do you? Well, not Ents, Entwives, I should really say.
Entwives? Are they like you at all?
Yes. No, I don't really know now. But they would like your country, so I just wondered. No?
I don't think so, no.
Well, what you've told me is a bundle of news, and no mistake. But Saruman now, he and his foul folk are making havoc now. Down on the borders, they're felling trees. Good trees. Curse him, root and branch. Many of those trees were my friends, creatures I'd known from nut and acorn. Many had voices of their own that are lost forever now. Yes. I will stop it. And you shall come with me. You may be able to help me.
We'll come with you. We'll do what we can.
Yes.
Yes, I'd like to see the White Hand overthrown.
Good, good. But I spoke hastily. We mustn't be hasty. Well, now, I'm going to stand up and take a little sleep. Where will you stand?
We usually lie down to sleep.
Lie down to sleep.
Yes.
Well, you lie on the bed. I'm going to stand in the rain and the waterfall. Good night.
So Merry and Pippin climbed onto the bed and curled up in the soft grass and fern. It was fresh, sweet-scented, and warm. In the morning they woke to find a cool sun shining into the great court and onto the floor of the bay.
Good morning, Merry and Pippin. You sleep long. I've been many 100 strides already today. Now we'll have a drink and go to Entmoot.
Where's Entmoot?
Entmoot. It's not a place, it's a gathering of Ents. We shall meet in the place where we have always met. It's a way south from here. We must be there before noon.
Several Ents had already arrived when at last they reached the place of the Entmoot. It was in a dingle, and paths led down to it from the west and from the east. And then more and more kept arriving down other paths. At first, Merry and Pippin were struck chiefly by the variety that they saw, the many shapes and colors, the differences in girth and height and length of leg and arm, and in the number of toes and fingers, anything from 3 to 9. As soon as the whole company was assembled, standing in a wide circle round Treebeard, a curious and unintelligible conversation began.
I wonder, since Entish is such an unhasty language, whether they've got any further than good morning yet.
I wonder what the Entish for yes and no is.
Hi, my Pippin. You are a hasty folk. You may get down now. I've told your names to the Entmoot, and they've seen you, and they've agreed you aren't orcs, and that a new line shall be put in the old lists. We've got no further yet, but that is quick work for an Entmoot. You and Merry can stroll about in the dingle if you like. There. Now we'll continue.
A second night came, and still the Ents held conclave under hurrying clouds and fitful stars. The third day broke, bleak and windy. The afternoon came, and the sun, going west towards the mountains, sent out long yellow beams between the cracks and fissures of the clouds. Suddenly they were aware that everything was very quiet. The whole forest stood in listening silence.
We come with roll of drum.
Boom, boom, we come, here we come with the boom, here we come at last. Come, join the moot. We're off to Isengard.
The Ents descended into a long fold of the land that fell away southward. Now they began to climb up and up onto the high western ridge. The sun sank behind the dark hill in front, and a gray dusk fell. The number of Ents seemed to have grown. On the dim, bare slopes that they'd crossed, Pippin thought he saw groves of trees, moving groves. The trees of Fangorn were awake, and the forest was rising, marching over the hills to war. The great gray shapes moved steadily onward. There was a noise like wind in many branches. The Ents were drawing near the crest of the ridge, and all the song had ceased. Night fell, and there was silence. Then, finally, at last, they stood upon the summit and looked down into a dark pit, the Valley of Saruman.
Night lies over Isengard.
As for Gimli, Legolas, and Aragorn, they made such breakfast as they could, and in the growing light were ready once again to search the ground for signs of the hobbits.
Let's go up here, up this rock wall, and look about us. I still feel my breath short.
I'm almost sure the hobbits have been up here too. But there are other marks, very strange marks, which I don't understand.
And here we are, at the top. And nicely caught in the net, too. Look.
Look at what?
There, in the trees.
Where? I don't have elf eyes.
Hush! Speak more softly. Look. Down in the wood. Back in the way that we've just come. It's he. Can't you see him passing from tree to tree?
I see. I see now. Look, Aragorn, didn't I warn you? There's the old man all in dirty gray rags. That's why I couldn't see him at first. Your bow, Legolas, bend it. Get ready. It's Saruman. Don't let him speak up. Put a spell upon us. Shoot first. But why are you waiting? What's the matter with you?
Legolas is right. We may not shoot an old man so at unawares and unchallenged. Whatever fear or doubt be on us, watch and wait.
At that moment, the old man quickened his pace and came with surprising speed to the foot of the rock wall. Then suddenly he looked up while they stood motionless, looking down. There was no sound. They couldn't see his face. He was hooded, and above the hood he wore a wide-brimmed hat, so that all his features were overshadowed, except for the end of his nose and his gray beard.
See the gleam of his eyes.
Well met indeed, my friends. I wish to speak to you. Won't you come down, or shall I come up? I'll come up.
Now, stop him, Legolas.
Didn't I say I wish to speak to you? Put away that bow, Master Elf. Ah!
Gimli's hand went at once to his axe haft. Aragorn drew his sword. Legolas picked up his bow. The old man took no notice, but stooped and sat himself on a low, flat stone. Then his gray cloak drew apart, and they saw beyond doubt that he was clothed beneath, all in white.
Saruman, speak. Tell us where you've hidden our friends. Speak, or I'll make a dint in your hat that even a wizard will find it hard to deal with.
The old man was too quick for him. He sprang to his feet and leaped to the top of a large rock. There he stood, grown suddenly tall, towering above them. His hood and his grey rags were flung away, his white garments shone. He lifted up his staff, and Gimli's axe leaped from his grasp and fell on the ground. The sword of Aragorn, stiff in his motionless hand, blazed with sudden fire. Legolas shot an arrow high into the air, and it vanished in a flash of flame.
Ah! Mithrandir! Mithrandir!
Well met, I say to you again, Legolas.
They all gazed at him. His hair was white as snow in the sunshine, and gleaming white was his robe. The eyes under his deep brows were bright, piercing as the rays of the sun. Power was in his hand. Between wonder, joy, and fear, they stood and found no words to say for the moment.
Gandalf, beyond all hope you returned to us in our need. What veil was over my sight? Gandalf.
Gandalf? Yes, that was the name. I was Gandalf. Yes, you may still call me Gandalf. Come, get up, my good Gimli. No blame to you, and no harm done to me. Indeed, my friends, none of you has any weapon that could hurt me. Be merry. We meet again at the turn of the tide. The great storm is coming, but the tide has turned, Gimli.
Oh, Gandalf. But you're all in white.
Yes, I'm in white now. Indeed, I am Saruman, one might almost say. Saruman as he should have been. But come now, tell me of yourselves.
Won't you first give us news of the hobbits? Did you find them? Are they safe?
No, there was a darkness over the valleys, and I didn't know of their captivity until the eagle told me.
The eagle?
Yes.
I've seen an eagle high and far off. The last time was 3 days ago.
Yes, that was the Wind Lord, who rescued me from Orthanc. His sight's keen, but he can't see all that passes under hill and tree. The ring now has passed beyond my help, or the help of any of the company that set out from Rivendell. Very nearly it was revealed to the enemy, but it escaped. I had some part in that, for I sat in a high place, and I strove with the dark tower, and the shadow passed. Then I was weary, very weary, and I walked long in dark thought.
And you know about Frodo?
Yes.
How do things go with him?
Oh, I can't say he was saved from a great peril, but many lie before him still. He resolved, to go alone to Mordor, and he set out. That's all I can say.
Not alone. We think that Sam went with him.
Oh, did he? Good, very good. You must tell me more. Now, sit down here by me and tell me the tale of your journey.
For a long while Gandalf said nothing, and he asked no questions. His hands were spread on his knees, and his eyes were closed. At last, he sighed.
The enemy, of course, has long known that the ring is abroad, and that it's borne by a hobbit. He knows now the number of our company that set out from Rivendell, and the kind of each of us. But he doesn't yet perceive our purpose clearly. He supposes that we were all going to Minas Tirith, for that's what he would himself have done in our place, and according to his wisdom, it would have been a heavy stroke against his power. Yes, that we should wish to cast him down and have no one in his place isn't a thought that occurs to his mind. That we should try to destroy the ring itself hasn't yet entered into his darkest dream. The enemy has failed so far, thanks to Saruman. The Dark Lord now has Isengard to fear as well as Minas Tirith. If Minas Tirith falls, it will go ill with Saruman. Yes, but Isengard can't fight Mordor unless Saruman first obtains the ring. His thought is ever on the ring. And he's forgotten Treebeard.
Who? Now you speak to yourself again.
What?
Treebeard isn't known to me.
Oh.
And I don't see in what way the coming of the two hobbits to Fangorn has served, save to give us a long and fruitless chase.
Oh, wait a minute. There is another thing I should like to know first. Was it you, Gandalf, or Saruman that we saw last night?
Well, you certainly didn't see me, therefore I must guess that you saw Saruman. Yes. Evidently, we look so much alike that your desire to make an incurable dent in my hat must be excused.
Good, good. I'm glad it wasn't you.
No.
But the hobbits. We've come far to seek them, and you seem to know where they are. Where are they now?
Oh, with Treebeard and the Ents.
The Ents?
Yes, yes.
Well, then there is truth in the old legends about the dwellers in the deep forests and the giant shepherds of the trees.
Yes.
But you speak of him as a friend.
The Ents are going to wake up and find that they are strong.
What will they do?
I don't know. I don't think they know themselves. Well, the morning's wearing away. Soon we must go.
Do we go to find our friends and to see Treebeard?
No, no. War is upon us and all our friends. A war in which only the use of the ring could give us surety of victory. It fills me with great sorrow and great fear. For I am Gandalf, Gandalf the White.
Yes.
But black is mightier still.
No.
No, no, it's gone beyond our reach. Of that at least, let's be glad. We can no longer be tempted to use the ring. We must go down to face a peril near despair. Come, Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
Then aren't we to see the merry young hobbits again?
I didn't say so. Who knows? Have patience. Will you come now with me?
Yes.
Yes.
We'll set out together.
Good.
The Dark Lord has 9, but we have 1, mightier than they. The White Rider.
Hey.
He has passed through the fire and the abyss, and they shall fear him. We will go where he leads.
Yes, but first it would ease my heart, Gandalf, to hear what befell you in Moria. Won't you tell us?
Come, Gandalf. Tell us how you fared with the Balrog.
Oh, name him not. Name him not. Long time I fell, and he fell with me. His fire was about me. I was burned. Then we plunged into the deep water, and all was dark. Cold it was as the tide of death. Almost it froze my heart.
Deep is the abyss that is spanned by Durin's bridge, and none has measured it.
Yet it has a bottom, Gimli, beyond light and knowledge. Far, far below the deepest delvings of the dwarves, the world is gnawed by nameless things. Even Sauron knows them not. They're older than he. Now I have walked there, but I'll bring no report to darken the light of day. In that despair my enemy was my only hope, and I pursued him, clutching at his heel. Thus he brought me back at last to the secret ways of Khazad-dûm. From the lowest dungeon to the highest peak climbs the endless stair, and ever up and up we went.
Long has that been lost. Many said it was never made, save in legend.
I descended an unbroken spiral to the highest peak in many thousand steps, until at last it issued in Durin's tower, Gilderoy. Yes. Out he sprang, and even as I came behind, he burst into new flame. I threw down my enemy, and he fell from the highest place and broke the mountainside where he smote it in his ruin. Yes. Then darkness took me, and I strayed out of thought and time, and I wandered far on roads I won't tell. I was alone, forgotten, without escape, upon the hard horn of the world. And so, at last, the Wind Lord found me again, and he took me up and bore me away to Lothlorien, where I tarried in the ageless time of that land, where days bring healing, not decay. Yes, healing I found, and I was clothed in white. Now there's need of haste.
And Gandalf wrapped himself again in his old tattered cloak and led the way. Following him, they descended quickly from the high shelf and made their way back through the forest. But there was no sign of their horses to be seen.
I shan't walk. Time presses.
There are horses approaching.
Certainly. We're too great a burden for one.
I can see. There are 3. See how they run. But there's one that strides ahead, a very great horse. I've not seen his like before.
Nor will you again. That is Shadowfax, chief of the Lords of Horses. Doesn't he shine like silver? He's come for us, the horse of the White Rider. We are going to battle together. Yesterday he was far away in the south of this land. Swiftly may he bear me back again. Battle and war! Ride on! Ride on!
The morning was bright and clear about them, and birds were singing when the travelers came to the stream. The land was green. They passed over and came upon a wide, rutted track leading towards the upland.
Look! How fair are the bright eyes in the grass! Never mind those flowers are called. Behold! There dwells Theoden, king of the Mark of Rohan. We're coming with the rising of the day, but we must ride more warily, for war is abroad, and the Rohirrim, the horse lords, do not sleep. Draw no weapon, speak no haughty word, I counsel you all, until we're come before Theoden's seat. Come!
Following the winding way up the green shoulders of the hills, they came at last to the wide, wind-swept walls and the gates of the town. When the guard saw Gandalf upon Shadowfax, the great horse of the Mark, he commanded the gates to be opened, despite the order by Wormtongue that no stranger should enter the city. At last they were admitted into the great hall, but only after the door warder tried to prevent Gandalf from taking his wizard staff inside. At the far end of the house, beyond the hearth and facing north towards the doors, was a dais with 3 steps, and in the middle of the dais was a great golden chair. Upon it sat a man so bent with age that he seemed almost a dwarf, but his white hair was long and thick and fell in great braids from beneath a thin golden circlet set upon his brow. In the center, upon his forehead, shone a single white diamond. Behind his chair stood a woman clad in white. At his feet, upon the steps, sat a wizened figure of a man with a pale, wise face and heavy-lidded eyes.
Theoden, I have returned. For behold, the storm comes, and now all friends should gather together, lest each singly be destroyed.
I greet you, and maybe you look for welcome, but truth to tell, your welcome is doubtful here, Master Gandalf.
But
you have ever been a herald of woe. Troubles follow you like crows. When my son Eomer brought the tidings that you had at last gone to your home, I didn't mourn. Why should I welcome you, Gandalf Stormcrow? Tell me that. Yes? Oh, what do you say, Wormtongue?
Why, indeed, I name you ill news, and ill news is an ill guest, they say.
you are held wise, my friend Wormtongue, and are doubtless a great support to your master. Some who bring evil tidings come only to bring aid in time of need.
That's so, but there is another kind, pickers of bones. What aid have you ever brought, Stormcrow? What aid do you bring now? It was aid from us that you sought last time you were here. Then my lord bade you choose any horse that you would and be gone. And to the wonder of all, you took Shadowfax in your insolence. Do you bring men? Do you bring horses? Swords? Spears? That I would call aid. But who are these that follow at your tail? 3 ragged wanderers in grey, and you, yourself, the most beggar-like of the 4.
The courtesy of your hall is somewhat lessened of late, Theoden. Hasn't the messenger from your gate reported the names of my companions? Seldom has any lord of Rohan received 3 such guests. Grey is their raiment, for the elves clad them, and thus they have passed through the shadow of great perils to your hall.
Then it's true, as Eomer reported, that you are in league with the sorceress of the Golden Wood.
Was it? Stay, Gimli, my friend. Behold! The wise speak only what they know, Wormtongue. A witless worm have you become. Therefore be silent, and keep your forked tongue behind your teeth. I haven't passed through fire and death to bandy crooked words with a serving man till the lightning falls. See!
No, didn't I counsel you, Lord, to forbid his staff? That fool at the gate has betrayed us.
Now, Theoden, will you hearken to me? Not all is dark. Take courage, Lord of the Mark, for better help you won't find. I bid you come out before your doors and look abroad. Too long have you sat in shadows and trusted to twisted tales and crooked promptings.
Well.
Come.
All right.
Open the doors! The Lord of the Mark comes forth. Send your guards down to the stairs foot, and you, lady, leave him a while with me. I'll care for him.
Go, Eowyn, sister-daughter. The time for fear is past.
The woman turned and went slowly back into the house. Thus Aragorn, for the first time in the full light of day, beheld Eowyn, Lady of Rohan, and thought her fair, fair and cold, like a morning of pale spring that is not yet come to womanhood. And she now was suddenly aware of him, tall heir of kings, wise with many winters, grey-cloaked, hiding a power that yet she felt. For a moment, still as stone she stood. Then turning swiftly, she was gone.
Now, Lord, look out upon your land. Breathe the free air again.
It isn't so dark here after all.
No, nor does age lie so heavily on your shoulders as some would have you think.
Dark have been my dreams of late, but I feel as one new awakened. I would now that you had come before, Gandalf, for I fear that already you have come too late, only to see the last days of my house. Not long shall stand high the hall. Fire shall devour the high seat. What's to be done?
Much, much. But first, send for Eomer. Don't I guess rightly that you hold him prisoner by the Council of Wormtongue?
Yeah, it is true. He had rebelled against my commands and threatened death to Wormtongue in my hall.
A man may love you and yet not love Wormtongue or his counsels.
That may be. I will do as you ask.
Now there's not time to tell all that you should hear. Yet if my hope isn't cheated, a time will come ere long when I can speak more fully. Behold, you're come into a peril greater even than the wit of Wormtongue could weave into your dreams. But see, you dream no longer, you live. Gondor and Rohan don't stand alone. The enemy is strong beyond your reckoning, yet we have hope at which he has not guessed. And your fingers would remember their old strength better if they grasped a sword hilt.
This counsel seems good to me now. Let all my folk get ready. But you, my guests, a guest house shall be made ready for you.
Nay, Lord, there is no rest yet for the weary. The men of Rohan must ride forth today, and we will ride with them, axe, sword, and bow. And I promised Eomer that my sword and his should be drawn together.
Don't delay, Theoden, when we're gone. Lead your people swiftly to the hold of Dunharrow in the hills.
Nay, Gandalf, you do not know your own skill at healing.
What?
It shall not be so. I myself will go to war, to fall in the front of the battle, if it must be. Thus shall I sleep better.
Good.
At that moment, cringing between two other men, Wormtongue came before him.
Why not let your counselor keep all things till your return? And I pray that we may see it.
Master Wormtongue is bold and cunning. Even now he plays a game with peril and wins a throw. Hours of my precious time he has wasted already. Down, snake! Down on your belly! How long is it since Saruman bought you? What was the promised price? When all the men were dead, you were to pick your share of the treasure and take the woman you desire? Too long have you watched her under your eyelids and haunted her steps.
You lie!
That word comes too often easy from your lips. I don't lie. See, Theoden, here is a snake. To slay it would be just, but it wasn't always as it is now. Once it was a man, and did you service in its fashion. Give him a horse, and let him go at once, wherever he chooses. By his choice you shall judge him.
Do you hear this, Wormtongue? This is your choice, to ride with me to war, or to go now whither you will. But then, if we ever meet again, I shall not be merciful. After him! After him! Give him a horse if he wishes it.
If any will bear him.
Now my guests come. Indeed, my eyes were almost blind. Most of all I owe to you, my guest Gandalf. Once again you have come in time. I would give you a gift ere we go, of your own choosing.
As for your gift, Lord, I'll choose one that will fit my need, swift and sure. Give me Shadowfax again.
Shadowfax? You choose well. And I give him now gladly. Yet it is a great gift. There is none like to Shadowfax. In him one of the mighty steeds of old has returned.
I think it's time to go now.
I regret to see the end of Shadowfax. But I hope he will hold you well.
The king now rose, and at once Eowyn his daughter came forward, bearing wine.
Hail, Aragorn, son of Arathorn.
Hail, Lady of Rohan.
Behold, I go forth. Farewell, sister-daughter. Dark is the hour, yet maybe we shall return to the Golden Hall.
The king shall come again, Eowyn. I, Aragorn, tell you so. Fear not.
You've been listening to The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, adapted for radio by Bernard Mays, and featuring Tom Luce as Aragorn, Eric Bauersfeld as Boromir, John Vickery as Legolas, Matthew Locricchio as Éomer, Pat Franklin as Merry, Mac McCadden as Pippin, Tom Luce as Treebeard, Bernard Mays as Gandalf, Eric Bauersfeld as Theoden, and Gael Chug as Gimli and the narrator.